Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are diving into some Star Citizen leaks that is coming out of Bar Citizen. Now this is not officially confirmed by CAG, it's just the chatter that is going on in Bar Citizen with staff members and members of the community, so always treat this information with a grain of salt. However, the things that are being talked about is extremely exciting because they talked about suit lockers could be coming as early as 4.9 or 4.10, which is insane because we've been waiting for it for so long. Base building is being targeted for 2027. Alien NPCs that aren't Wikelo are showing up in Xenothreat as soon as 4.8.3, and there's a mystery GATAC ship inspired by 2001 A Space Odyssey, a brand new enemy faction, and the Ironclad might be getting a rework. Alright, first thing up, and this one's actually got a good amount of sources behind it. The Drake Ironclad and the Ironclad Assault are apparently getting a rework this soon. And the big thing here, the thing people are excited about, is that the bridge may be gaining pilot capability. Like, you'd actually be able to fly the ship from the bridge itself, that is in the middle of the ship, above the cargo hold. One source was a little uncertain on the specifics of that, but multiple others came back and said, yeah, pilot from bridge is what's being worked towards right now. If that's true, that's a massive quality of life change for Ironclad owners. That thing is already a beast of a ship, as well as the fixes that we talked about in the last video that are coming out to the Ironclad. So they really want the Ironclad to be like the go-to ship in the game. Alright, the next one I am personally excited about because suit lockers, apparently there is an effort being made to get them working in the 4.9 or 4.10 patch cycles. I mean, if you know, you know, the amount of times you've wanted to just swap your armor on your ship without juggling inventory menus is astronomical. This has been talked about for so long, and the fact that it's apparently on someone's priority list right now is genuinely exciting. Again, not confirmed, but multiple people in those Bar Citizen cycles are saying that it is being actively pushed for. I also wanted to say that this is a prerequisite to player-based shops, because if you saw the episodes where they talked about how people can sell their items like on a display in a shop, I assumed that you need suit lockers or somewhere to display the items that you own in order for someone to just come and purchase it and, you know, take it with them. And so I think this is a prerequisite to that. Anyways, very excited about this. If it's actually coming to 4.9 or 4.10, that would be a huge update because most of the ships has ship lockers. If this feature like changes how ship lockers function in all the ships, that's actually game changing. And especially now with the G-Forces suits that we're getting, who knows what other armor that we get. We could swap the armor to be able to fly the ship more easily. We could swap the armor when we're getting down on a surface because of the different environments. Anyways, it's so exciting, and I'm particularly interested in this one. Now here's one that's more of a planning and feature roadmap thing. So CIG is apparently working on a 2027 ship schedule, and there's a specific staff member who's pushing hard to get the 600i series rework into the plan. The 600i crowd has been waiting for so long for some love to that ship. And if someone inside CIG is actively lobbying for it to be part of the 2027 lineup, that's at least a sign that the conversation is happening. Whether it actually makes the cut or not is a whole other question, but it's being talked about. And on the 2027 topic, base building is being targeted for 2027. This one isn't super shocking given the direction CIG has been pointing the game at, but hearing it come from Bar Citizen sources gives it a little more weight. Base building has been one of those features that feels perpetually coming soon in the grand scope of Star Citizen. So having it tied to a specific year target, even informally, is something. Also, base building is what I'm waiting for the game to be a game, in my opinion, because right now when you play the game you make a bunch of money, and either the main thing that you want to do is buy ships, right? You could get a little bit of weapons or some components, but to me the main reason I play the game is to gather enough AUEC to buy the ships that I want and to experience the verse, because it's really detailed and there's a lot to do. But with base building, that's a whole other beast, because now you want to make enough money to be able to to claim an area. You want to get enough money to be able to buy the equipment that you could build the base with. You need resources to craft or create or build the buildings, and the buildings isn't just for decoration. There's an industry tied to it. You could extract resources from the planet itself because of Genesis, and then after you gather the resources, you refine it, all that in your base, and then you take the refined material. You could either craft it and sell it in your own shop on your base, or take it to another place where you could sell it. So it opens up Star Citizen to become an actual game, in my opinion. Alright, the next section we're going to talk about is Alien Week. So here's what's being said. The Railen is confirmed to be part of Alien Week, which, yeah, we knew that. The Railen has been in works for forever, and it's a GATAC Gion hauler a lot of people have been hyped about, and I just made a video about it yesterday. But what's interesting is there's apparently a second ship, an industrial ship from GATAC, that's partially inspired by a ship from 2001 A Space Odyssey. That's a wild and very specific piece of inspiration to drop, and it makes me super curious what the design direction actually looks like. The movie is full of iconic spacecraft shapes, so that's a huge design space to pull from. And this is where it gets fun. Someone apparently asked CIG staff whether the PTV would fit in the Railen's elevator, and the response they got was the Railen will not be alone, which that's a very intentional non-answer. And when you put that together with the second GATAC industrial ship and the rumors floating around about what sounds like a small round ship with arms, kind of reminiscent of that 2001 design language, you start to connect the dots. Nothing confirmed yet, but the breadcrumbs are there. We're gonna know very soon. Siege of Orison is also coming back in 4.9 or so, they said, and this time it's getting the instance environment treatment. So if you've been burned before by the open world Siege of Orison experience where PvP players would roll in and just make the event completely miserable, the instancing approach should help a lot with that. It's a really solid piece of FPS content when it's actually playable, so this is good news for people who enjoy that side of the game, but also give me your insight about that, because the whole fun Siege of Orison is that you got to experience the event with random people you don't know about. Why are we being penalized by the griefers that we are not able to play Siege of Orison how it's supposed to be and just have it instanced in Star Citizen? The whole point of Star Citizen is to have a seamless universe with nothing being loaded or nothing being separated from the main universe. Everyone is experiencing the game at the same time, and I feel like instancing kind of breaks that. So I'm really curious about your take on Siege of Orison being instanced now. We also got more news on Squadron 42. I made a video like a few days ago talking about how I don't think Squadron 42 is coming this year. All the indicators are saying that it's not coming this year, and guess what? They talked about it. The Squadron 42 will not be part of Summer Games Fest, which a lot of people were thinking about. So if you were hoping for a big Squadron 42 moment in that showcase, it sounds like that's not happening. Not necessarily bad news for the game itself, just something to manage expectations around for anyone who was watching that event specifically for Star Citizen content. That has a huge implication. That means they're doing no marketing for the game, and if the game is coming out to October, that's like, who knows about the game? Like, they've been teasing GTA 6 for forever. Where's the marketing for Squadron 42? There are none. And I would assume they would push it hard mainstream and do so much marketing and tell people the game is coming out in this date before they actually ship it. Otherwise, it's gonna go unnoticed. So unless they push hard on marketing, don't expect Squadron 42 to come this year. And finally, one more thing about the 2027 ships. Beyond the 600i Rework, there's apparently another CIG staff member who is going to push for a different ship rework, one that gets asked about a lot, and it's specifically not the Reclaimer and not the Constellation series. So that narrows it down a bit, but still leaves a lot of candidates on the table. I've got my guesses, but it's still, that's all the answers we got, so we have no idea what other ships that's being worked on, but it's fun to think about. Drop your guesses in the comments below. What ships do you want them to rework? And maybe one of them will actually get reworked. So I want to know what ship you think is getting some love in 2027. Alright guys, that's everything from the Bar Citizen League pool right now. Again, none of this is official, treated like community intel. but enjoy the hype cycle for what it is, and don't go making major ship purchases decision based on any of this. Things change, plans shift, and CIG is CIG. But if you found this useful, drop a like and subscribe. If you're new, I cover Star Citizen content regularly, and we've got more coming. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.